I'm so tired today. Okay. We can do this. I can be happy. Hi, and welcome to AltTabMe.com, the community that Outlasts release dates, Wildstar podcasts. Today we're going to be talking about...
Wildstar Wednesday?
I think so. We think that's what we're going to be talking about. So, not a lot of information has come out on Wildstar recently, which makes it kind of hard to do a Wildstar podcast. We got a Wildstar Wednesday. We're going to talk about some of that stuff. We're going to do the 30 minutes. So, in case you haven't watched any of our previous podcasts, we do 30 minutes. Once we're up with that 30 minutes, we stop no matter what we're talking about. It kind of encourages you guys to come over to the community or tweet us at AltTabMe and, ask us questions, suggest things for future podcasts. But the idea here is that we're going to talk about Wildstar for as long as humanly possible. We're going to get out all the information that we have. And if we run out of information, we're going to talk about really cool shit that's happening on our community website. So, welcome to the AltTabMe.com community that outlasts release dates, Wildstar / community / newsbite / all right, this is the longest intro. It sucks. We're just going to start. Timer starts right about now. So, that was fun. Okay, so what do we know right now? So what's the new information? The new information is basically that we're not getting too much new information because it looks like through beta testing, which I give them a lot of credit for this, Wildstar is actually doing true beta tests, not hype beta tests. For those of you that don't know what the difference is, a hype beta test is where someone goes, come and join our closed beta. Look, you got a closed beta invite. And then, you're like, oh, and you go to your friend, you're like, dude, I just got a closed beta invite to this game. They're like, oh my God, so did I. And then his friend is like, oh my God, so did I. And then his girlfriend's like, oh my God, I so got that shit too. And then they're like, well, let's go play together. And then 2 days later, the game comes out.
That was a miserable interpretation, but I got the gist of that.
Yeah.
You got a little bit Prohibition era speakeasy sort of talk going on there.
Yeah, I kind of got a welcome back Cotter vibe, the sweat hogs.
I don't know.
Go up your nose with a rubber hose.
Well, look at games like SimCity that did beta tests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look at any free-to-play game that's come out that is in beta.
Mm-hmm.
And then they
Or
just
any
say
of the
beta.
any of the Korean titles that say that they're in beta, yet they've been out in Korea for 6 years, and then they're just coming to America now, and they're like, check out the beta. I'm like, dude, your game's been out for 6 years. What the fuck are you talking about?
Terra.
I'm like, basically, the time that it's in Korea is the beta testing period, and then the Americans get the toned down, less underwear showing beta version as well. So, don't... I don't want
Less underwear. Damn.
Yeah, on the little
Shots.
children characters. Anyway, sorry, I'm not gonna. It's just it's weird. I don't understand it. I mean, I do understand it culturally. There's cultural reasons for that stuff. The pent up suppression of. I'm not even using the right words, but the way that
Suppressed.
the way they suppress their feelings for sexuality and stuff like that causes this outburst of crazy. Tentacle porn. There you go. I mean,
you could have just said outburst of crazy. You would have been fine.
yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like that.
Catholic school,
Okay.
bro.
Anyway, wow, we totally tangent. Hello, Wildstar.
Wildstar.
Sorry,
Oh.
it's one of those days today. It's one of those days. Maybe we won't
Yep.
go 30 minutes. Maybe we'll just talk forever.
No, but you're right. A lot of games lately haven't been doing beta testing for beta testing. They've been doing it for letting people get into the game and play the game. They're not even making that many changes in beta. The big one for me was Guild Wars 2. We did a lot of stuff in beta in that. I didn't really see that much of a change or whatever. It was like, here's a finished product, play with it, and if you get into it, then we'll give you 3 days early where you can keep your name or something like that.
Think about that too. And when we look back, they had only 9 days of actual open beta, like that when they made it official NDA release and all that other stuff, and everyone could post whatever they wanted about it, they only had 3 weekend events, which went from Friday to Sunday. It was less than 72 hours on each of them. There was 9 days, and then in each of those, they did a stress test at the end for their event. They told everyone, "Hey, go here," but you look at it, they didn't change.
Before you dig your own graves.
Before we go too far into hating
those betas that you guys were in were the open hype betas.
Exactly.
The
That's
betas
true.
before then that I was in
Oh.
were closed betas where our suggestions and stuff were actually being implemented.
Well, not all of us get into the schmancy.
No, but I'm just saying they did have
We
a
had to
closed.
purchase
They
our
had a
beta
closed
access.
beta period.
You're
That's all
you're
I'm saying.
right.
They
That
knew the
was
difference.
Yes.
that was a hype beta. That's
Theirs was
definitely
a
true.
hype beta, 100%.
Yeah.
But they had at least run a beta prior to that.
No,
So,
we weren't faulting them on their closed beta, but weren't we just discussing the difference?
no, but
between
I think that using an open beta, like an open beta as a hype, is a great idea. I
is.
I
Once you get
disagree
to that
with
point.
using beta in general or putting beta on a pre-release. Essentially, is what I have a problem with.
they should just go
It's
back
interesting
and just
'cause-
call everything a testing stage instead of putting.
Well, it's
the
like
content.
these games like
yeah,
Cube
they call it
World
beta
that come out that are like, oh, we're an alpha, but here, pay us.
Yeah, buy into the alpha and
For everyone that's playing Cube World, guess what, people? You just bought the final game. Sure, there will be fixes and changes, but that's the game.
well,
it's
and that's
not
what
alpha.
Minecraft did.
It's not
Minecraft
alpha.
called it alpha, and then when they finally got to a point where they had ideas that this is what's going to be in the game finalized, then they switched it to a beta numbering system. But you could buy in, and it was the game, and you were essentially paying for a broken game that with promises of patches for life at a cheaper price than what they were going to pay for
Yeah,
retail.
so
It's
it's
fun.
And that's, I mean,
pre-purchase.
and that's what you're getting, and you should know that going in. And something like, Wildstar or the new EverQuest or Elder Scrolls Online or whatever, they should be doing betas
Sorry.
that are very much get in there and get the questions you want as a developer answered so that you can either fix it if it's broke or enhance it or tweak it however you want to do.
That game is going
And I
to be
think that's
terrible,
what
by the way. ESO, I'm sorry. Anyone that's hyped about ESO, I cannot wait to see you whining, going, "It's the best game in the world. Why won't you play it?" It's going to be
I'm-
bad.
Age of
I'm
Conan
interested
again.
in looking at it just because I've loved Elder Scrolls forever.
But it's not an Elder
Maybe.
Scrolls game. It's like a
It's
super
going
numbed down
to
version
be-
of it with multiplayer.
But I mean,
Bad.
the part of it that appeals to me, which is I think what they're kind of selling on, is I've talked to my friends about like, man, wouldn't Elder Scrolls be awesome if you could play like multiplayer? Like,
Yeah, go do
multiplayer
that
Elder Scrolls
with,
would be amazing.
Yes, it would be
So if they-
awesome if they would have made a like RPG version of it versus an MMO.
Yeah, but anyway, but that's I think why people are excited about it, because everyone's going, oh man, this game would be amazing if I could play it with my friends. So, and that's what they're banking on. That just looked like Bruce passed Mike a drink, and Mike drank out of it.
Yeah,
Because
it
Bruce
magically
reached
changed
off
from a
screen
bottle
like this.
of beer to
Bruce
a
went
cup
like
of
this
iced
off
tea.
screen, and Mike went like this and got a drink.
You wish you had my drink.
That's really funny.
Ugh,
That was awesome. Just from the way they look on my screen. But
that's awesome.
Anyway, so what happened Wildstar Wednesday? They gave us a state of the beta. I have it up on the screen, so that's why I'm looking over there. Basically, they were talking about what was happening, some of the stuff that was happening in the betas. They gave us a little bit of an insight. So the first thing they talked about was character progression. Mike, you seem to know the most about that. Why don't you kick us off on that?
Well, I guess the big complaint is that character progression was built around what they called milestones, and they said in the Wildstar Wednesday that the first iteration of that was you get to a certain level of one type of stat. So I guess they call it brute or finesse or moxie, which is like your strength or your crit or your whatever stat that your particular class is trying to build. You get that to say 100 points. And then in the first iteration, they're saying you got a a skill or a passive skill that you could slot in and choose to use that as your passive skill, like extra health or more crit or something like that. And then they didn't like the way that worked, so they tied that in directly to your stat allocations, where you didn't get to choose it, you just got it when you got to 100 points of health regen, you got extra health points.
Yeah.
They've basically said in this is there's a lot of customer feedback, a lot of player feedback that the players don't like this type of customization because it's not like a tree that you're going down and choosing, and you can choose which ones you want to give yourself stat bonuses or extra spells or whatever. It's tied into gear. So if you want that extra health, you got to get more gear that has that one stat on it, and you're always getting gear anyway. So people didn't feel like they could customize their character.
Yeah.
They felt the only way to customize was getting gear.
I think that makes sense, and I think that's a good idea that they're changing that, because I would not like to have 85 different sets of gear in my bags.
Oh, Jesus.
I do that.
Just to get the right stat combos.
Well, I mean,
And you know what? People do that without caring about the stats.
But
for
if
it.
if they're giving that option, then please, like, give us another bag that is just that stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Give us your bag, yeah.
Your gear bag.
yeah, just a gear bag that's off to the corner. Shut up, Bruce.
Or just
Nobody-
be good at
nobody-
organizing
Nobody
your
cares.
inventory.
Nobody cares about you right now.
Whatever it is.
You go
Mr.
play. You go
Spreadsheet
play
stat man.
ESO, man. Go play ESO.
Fuck you guys. I've never even played an Elder Scrolls game, period. Why the fuck? Anyways.
I don't know. Looking at that game, I feel like Funcom made it. All right, never mind. Sorry, moving on.
Oh,
So-
that's kinda
Yeah, so I guess
Ooh,
they haven't said
ouch.
what they're going to do for the character customization. But they are saying they're going to change it.
Yeah.
By the way,
I'm
everyone that's
sorry.
watching, this is basically what we have. This is what we can give to you.
I'm
We
sorry
can-
for the stuttering there.
We can just kind of like spew back what you've already read,
Yeah.
and try to make it colorful.
What I think is interesting is that it's an example again, which we've seen before. It's an example again of them making an effort to be transparent. They've said, okay,
No, it's
cool.
good.
So I mean, at the end of that post, they've got a thing saying they're shutting down the closed beta testing for a little while. They're going to reopen it again later in the year, and thanked all their current stable of beta testers for all their time and all their feedback and so on. And they've sort of, after each beta, they've posted a letter basically saying, here's what we've pulled out of this current beta phase, here's what we're working on, here's what we're changing, here's what we're iterating. And I think it's interesting that every time there's been at the end of everything, they've always found something. And this is a really important thing. They always find something that should change and that they can change. And I
Yeah.
think that's the mark of, like you were talking before about hype beta testing versus actual beta testing. This is
Yeah.
actual beta testing, because they're looking at stuff and going, we can fix that. We can make that better. People aren't feeling like the idea of the stat stuff, the milestones and what have you. It's a case of players aren't feeling empowered, I guess, to make choice. And I mean, in an MMO, you want to be able to make choice. I mean, there's that whole thing about like, oh, well, everybody uses this build for, end game or whatever, and
Yeah.
you get an element of that. And I think if you can stop your game from doing that by itself, i.e., you need these stats at these levels to get these abilities. If they stop that from happening, that'll allow a little bit more freedom, because you're still going to have those people who are like, if you're not running this build, then you suck at X, Y, Z, and you're stupid and you should just uninstall and throw your computer out a window because you suck.
So
you get people
everyone
like
in
that.
our community, basically. No, I'm just kidding. That
Yeah.
was a joke. Joe.
Mostly Tristan.
You know, I'm going to go off on a small tangent that I keep running
No.
into on our forums.
Tangent on
With-
our
Full tangent?
podcast? Never.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
It's still related, but it's a
Killing
little bit
the
of a
scene.
tangent. A lot of people keep talking about this whole min-max thing, and I don't think anybody really gets how much that min-max is going to be thrown out the window with this game. Because
What?
Min-max, yeah, you can choose and you can figure out mathematically which spells and whatever is going to be the highest hitting over, the course of a fight. But that's really not going to work because the skill in this game is going to be a much bigger factor, I think.
But
Because you're
yeah,
going to have to
No, but you
dodge, you're
still
going to
have to
run.
min-max.
there's always going to be a skill cap, and you're going to have to min-max to go beyond the skill cap. That's the thing. I mean, there's always a limit on how good a person can actually be. There may be a few people that like somehow magically better reflexes and all that other
Koreans.
stuff, whatever. But the min-maxing can bring your semi-mediocre player to a higher standard through the maximization between your skills and rotation. You may suck and stand in the fire, but at least while you're alive, you're still in that top DPS,
Well,
whatever.
Koreans.
Here's the thing. For me, when I say min-max, I'm talking about you have to have this amount of this to get 1% more. I'm not talking about the guys that won't even put the right type of gear on for their assigned role.
Chinese.
There's still a difference between that 1% and 0% for a similar skill cap.
Yeah, but I'm saying the skill is going to be a much bigger factor
But-
because
Yes, I'm agreeing with you on that point, but still, min-maxing matters.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm saying that it's
Then
going to
what the
matter
fuck
a
are we
lot
arguing
less.
about?
I don't know. You're not listening to me is what
Son
we're
of a
arguing
bitch.
about.
I love that Tristan snorts and we're just laughing at the two of you arguing about this. This is funny as hell.
Son of a bitch. I hate you all. Why do I still do this?
What I'm saying is the min-max is going to be overcome a lot more by skill in this game than other games, because other games, when you could target somebody and your bullet would curve around corners to hit them no matter what, as long as you're hitting that button, you're good. In this
Angelina
game,
Jolie.
if you're not aimed the right way, if you're not moving out of the stuff that knocks you down, if you're not doing everything on top of hitting those buttons in the right order, you're gonna lose a lot more. So the guy that can move is gonna be better than the guy that knows the correct rotation.
Koreans.
Everything's Koreans for you.
By the way, I only say that because I'm extremely jealous of their ability to do what they do in games like StarCraft. Holy crap,
The whole
Yeah.
I want to be able to.
Reddit thing. And...
Oh man, they take YouTube trolls that are like, and make them look like nothing, because they type so damn fast.
I knew a guy who was Indian, but his heritage was Indian, but he was living in Australia and growing up in Australia and all that. This guy was like that. He was amazing. He actually was our raid leader, ran everything, paid attention to all the DPS, all the tanks, whatever. He would call people out for not doing something, and he was the main healer. So he was paying attention to all his own healing stuff, keeping out of the way of everything. He killed it, battlegrounds, all that stuff. And
Cool story, bro.
so it's not just Koreans.
Wow,
Oh,
Bruce.
don't be mad at me, Bruce.
Jeez.
Ouch. Bruce
No,
is just like,
so-
what a
so
friend
anyway-
anymore.
No, but you know what's interesting is even though you guys were going at each other, that is what is needed in a game. Your side, and it's so hard because it's different on the fucking stream than it is on Skype. This is why I'm always struggling with
Mike's side
this.
and Bruce's side.
So this side and that side need to exist in order for a game to be good. You need to have the min-maxers. You need to have the people that are like, my skill is greater than your min-maxing. You need to have all that shit in. Otherwise, you lose one person, which is an entire group of people,
One type
and then
of
you're
person.
only stuck with another person who you may get
douchebags.
along with, but you don't want to just be surrounded by people that are you. That's not fun, because then you're all just sitting there going, well, I'm better than you because I got the skills. And then the other guy's like, no, I'm better than you because I got the skills. And they're like, well, what's your DPS? I don't care about DPS. I'm just better than you. So, you know what I mean? Like, theory crafting is extremely important to a game. You need to be able to fucking sit down, theory craft the crap out of shit. You need to be able to min-max. It's like they're little meta games within the game, and they're really important to a lot of different people. So, I hope that they're all still in there.
They're important, Bruce.
So, but that actually goes into that's a good segue into the next thing they talked about, and I think this is probably the best thing they changed.
I like this.
Yeah. So, mob tagging, they titled it "Mob tagging and shared quest credit are not emblematic of a modern MMO." So, what
Big
what
words.
they did here was they were having a lot of go out kill X quests is what I'm assuming from this, and people were getting the feeling of what, like, your game looks really cool, your combat's really like really fun, it's very different, it feels great, but why am I going and killing 6 boars? Why am I going and killing 10, bunnies? Why am I collecting X heads? Why am I collecting X this, that, and the other? Especially when a game like Guild Wars 2 came out that showed people that there's such a thing as shared XP. There's such a thing as grouping and helping other players. It gives you that sense of, I want to help my faction. I want to help my people. So what they're doing, essentially, is they're redoing all of their questing system. By the way, this is huge. This is a huge overhaul, like big time.
Yeah.
And they are.
Your questing system's a core system.
That's what builds the game. That
It's
and
like,
combat are what
I
make
like my
a-
car, but I want to change how the engine works in it.
Yeah, I want to rebuild the engine.
Rebuild the engine.
We're gonna rebuild the engine, and hopefully it'll fit in the new car. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so
Let's cut a hole in the front of the bonnet, stick the engine.
exactly.
No, it's supercharged. That's what it is. That's all that's going on. We're supercharging.
They're supercharging Wildstar. It's Wildstar supercharged. TM AltTabMe.com.
Big fat tack on it.
Anyway, so they're taking out all X kill quests, all of them. You will no longer ever. Thank God. I think Total
I
Biscuit
don't
said
know.
this one time a long time ago. He said, "Why the fuck am I sitting in?" I'm sure, or I don't know. Why the fuck am I sitting in? That's not even British. I don't
That's
even know.
a
how to do
terrible
British.
accent. That was terrible.
It was. I'm not. I can't do.
Terrible
I
British.
can't do a British accent.
You were banned from British
I
accent.
can't do a British accent. Oh, blimey! Sorry. I love you, British
For all
people.
of our European.
No,
Yeah.
I just can't do an
British guys.
accent. I'm not being. I don't like. It's not like I dislike British people. I just.
No, you're just butchering it.
Or
You can just do 1930s speakeasy. That's your only accent.
anyway, so they're pulling out. So like he's sorry, I totally tangented. So he said a long time ago, why am I in this immersive world where I'm supposed to be running around? Now this he was talking about Guild Wars 2, where I'm supposed to be running around exploring the world. There's no quest hubs. Why am I looking up at a bar that tells me go kill 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 boars? I thought I was supposed to be running around and doing stuff. Shouldn't it just be like a bar that fills up? Shouldn't I not have to know exactly what that is? It's breaking the immersion. I know exactly what I need to do now, whereas I should feel like I don't know exactly what I have to do, and I should be exploring, and I should be playing, and I should be fighting, and I should be killing. And that is what it seems like they are going to be doing. They said they're taking out kill X quests, collect X anything, and they're introducing a quest completion bar for kill quests. They
But
said
that's exactly what the event in Heart Meter is going to be, though. That quest completion bar. They
Right.
get so much XP. They get so much completion for depending on how fast and they kill things and how they complete objectives and stuff. of that
Except
sort.
what they did here is they went in and they turned it on itself, where instead of just, okay, we just took out the X, you still have to kill 10 boars. You know what I mean? Like, we took out the number, so, here it is. Go kill 10 boars anyway. Now it just shows you a thing. No,
Yeah.
they said, go kill the fucking mother of boars, and you complete that quest like that.
Oh yeah, they did say that difficulty of mobs will
Yeah.
increase things faster
It's-
than.
so the bar looks like, from based on what they've said, the bar will fill up based on the XP that you gain from doing that objective. So if the objective is kill boars or kill, super boars or whatever it is,
Super
if you're-
Boars.
and because
That's us on the podcast. We're all super boring.
Mm.
Oh, almost
That's
got
worse.
beer coming out of his nose.
Oh,
Oh, not even close.
I need the
So-
chicken head for that.
No, fuck
Yeah.
you.
Get the chicken hat. No, anyway, we'll do a podcast of chicken hat. So because they're removing the mob tagging, it'll mean that you can be doing that quest, see someone fighting a mob, get in on the end of that mob, get a little bit of XP because you did, a third of its health, so you'll get a little bit of bar progression. When you move on to your next mob and you kill that mob by yourself entirely, you'll get full progression because you get full XP on that. And if you then go and see that thing over there, and you go, man, that thing's wrecking a whole group of people. Maybe I can go jump in on that, and you get in that sort of like almost public quest, group quest sort of deal where you fight some sort of elite mob, and suddenly your progression just jumps, two-thirds of the
great.
way
So
up
instead of just
up the
sitting on
bar.
the outskirts, you want to group up with people and you want to
Yeah.
push through and go kill that giant commander over there because your quest will be done thinner.
It feels more organic, I think.
Well,
by
what's
doing
happening
it by
is-
XP gain.
They went from the WoW traditional closed mob tagging. They're transitioning to a Guild Wars 2 style of mob tagging, but then they're going to the next step of actually putting more definitive values to your actions within the Guild Wars 2
Now-
quest style.
Now, here's
Yeah.
something I think they really, really need to do, and they kind of touched on it because they said one of the concerns was what happens if you go pure support? Do you still get credit? Now, I read everything they wrote, and not anywhere in there did I see an answer to the problem.
Yeah.
The problem is that you can group up with people as pure support, but you still have to do a little bit of damage. Now, here's the
Nope.
problem. No, it says it. It says
Yeah,
it.
hold on.
No, it
No, but-
does.
Hold on. Though.
Hold on.
What they're
Okay.
trying to explain is, if you're playing a pure support role, the emphasis is that most likely you're supposed to be within a actual party group, not
Yeah.
just an open world supporting others. When you're within the party group, you gain full XP that you would normally because you're part of the group. All the damage required for mob killing is the entire group combined,
Right.
not just your participation.
No, but it
within the
says
closed
our current plan is to have some minimal threshold of damage that needs to be done before credit can be earned.
Yes, but
Yes,
that's
but
when
that's
you're
what-
within your own party.
So here's
The damage threshold is for the whole party, not just you.
the way they said it for support players is if you're out soloing as a support player, yes, you're not going to get that mob
No, but
XP.
okay, so here's my question. Sorry. They've often said I want to just get this out because it's like I really
Yeah,
feel
go
like
ahead.
this is a good solution to it, and I've seen it in a lot of MMOs, and whatever they can listen to me, they don't have to. But they said that they watch Team Fortress 2 a lot, right? They've based a lot of this game off Team Fortress 2. They've said it in multiple blog posts, whatever. I really feel like the medic's role in Team Fortress 2 showed how a support class could feel fucking awesome for helping out another player. I'm healing you. You kill that. On my screen pops up, killed by X and X. So Bruce and Tristan just killed this beast. Bruce did all the damage, but I kept him alive.
Yeah,
but it
but-
counted it because I was helping him at the time of him killing.
And
That works
that's
for
exactly
healing.
what happens when you're actually in a party. Just like you're
Yes.
both on Team Red in Team Fortress
Yeah.
2, you're going to have that same experience if you're
No,
within
but
party
I'm talking.
group one.
What I'm talking about is in
In the
the
open
world,
world,
in the
yeah.
open world. If you see someone in trouble and you're a healer, to make it so that you want to go up to them and pop them a heal, it would be great if you pop them that heal because they have your healing buff on them. It tags them for you. Then when they kill that mob, you get a percentage of that.
I can agree with that, but I can't imagine the technical.
Oh no, I'm sure. I'm
the-
sure it's not easy.
Yeah,
But
that
come
would
on,
be
crazy
they're
to
revamping
code
the whole fucking questing system. Might as well throw something else in there for them.
I don't know. I
That
just
works for
don't see
healing.
that ever happening. I can
But it
literally
really works
see
for,
a
like-
person heal AoE heal botting just in a certain spot, and then every time a person goes by that heals them or buffs them, that person kills X, and
Yeah, but the heals will probably run out after a certain amount of time. But that works for healing. But to me, it doesn't work for the other part of the support class. Like if you blind a mob, or if you knock down a mob, or if you slow a mob, so that the other person has more time.
So I think that
Oh,
should also show, like, if you slow a mob and then someone kills it, it should pop up X and Y, Bruce and Tristan, killed
Right.
mob.
But then if you think of it that way, how much the way their format is right now, where the amount of XP you gain is by the base of amount of damage you've done, how would you calculate in?
You get half of the damage that you did because I helped you to make it happen.
Well,
Or
That's-
depending on the
disagree.
skill, it's a percentage.
I'm sure there's a way they could figure out the percentages if they
I mean,
wanted to say,
I'm just
okay,
tossing numbers
this,
out there. It doesn't have
this
to be 50.
mob in the time from when it stopped being leashed to its spot because somebody did damage to it and somebody tagged it to the time that it died, it gained 3 persons slow buffs and 2 people's damage. All 5 of those separate people get this percentage or whatever. You get this percentage for a buff or a debuff, and you get this percentage for this person that did damage gets heals. I'm sure there's a way to do it. Sounds super, super complicated though.
And again, like thinking of just that
Coding
example
wise, that'd be
alone,
insane.
what if the 2 people
So
that did
basically
damage,
what you're saying is that if there's a good idea, but because it's complicated, we shouldn't actually improve our games. That's what I'm
If
hearing
I'm
from
doing
you.
the work, sure.
hold on.
That's what I'm hearing from you, Bruce.
Well, no, I'm playing devil's advocate
No,
here.
but all I'm
just thinking
saying,
of-
no, but all I'm saying is, if there's something that you think is a good idea or something that could help progress the cooperative feel in a multiplayer, massive online game, you think because it's hard that they shouldn't do it.
No, I just
I have
the
I have one
logistics of it
problem.
are not going to be pretty. That is what
The-
I am saying.
Well,
No
how
matter
so?
how you can try to, the easiest way to define how much contribution you do is damage in the purest, rawest form. Again, within a group scenario, like I've said many times, if you are playing the support character, you are going to get the full contribution that the group does in damage, even if you didn't do any of the damage, and as long as you supported the group. In the scenario of an open world, if you're soloing as a support, what are you doing? Like, you can't, if you're out there by yourself and you're playing full support, you're relying on these other people. Why don't you just group up with them?
No, and I think that the skill bars and the way that you can mix match on the fly and stuff like that is going to make it so that you don't have to just be full support. It's not a situation of I gotta go respec and
But
all that
again-
other stuff.
Again, then you're doing some of the damage and all this argument goes null and void.
Right. I'm just saying that I feel like people with the support and the
Yeah.
healing stuff should get a little bit more recognition for it through the game, not through people going thank you or
But-
fuck you.
Well, you know what?
But
It
no-
sounds
but
like
like
that's
it-
what they're doing, though. It sounds like
Yeah.
they're changing it. They're changing the way that tagging works because they want it to be more of an organic feel. And to me, Guild Wars 2 did tagging right. That, looking back, that's the best thing they did in that game. By making it so
Oh, shit.
you didn't have to ignore any mobs
We're
because
a- we're a-
somebody else is fighting it.
We're a
What?
minute.
What?
We're a minute over.
Really? Shit.
Yeah.
Let's
That's
do a
funny.
long one. People wanted to.
All right. We could. You know what? We'll extend this one 15 minutes.
All right.
Continue.
But
There was a point I wanted to bring up,
yeah, go for
which
it.
was about the logistics and about the throw out the idea that it's hard to code or that it's hard to build the logistics for. Throw that out. Like we've said, yes, that's going
Say
to
it
be
was
that would be
easy.
difficult. Let's say it was successful. Let's say you managed to do that. You've now got a problem where I decide, I can't be fucked killing mobs, so I'm just going to put all my healing skills on my bar, and I'm going to walk into a zone where there's lots of people killing stuff. I'm just going to walk around, I'm going to toss a heal on that guy, and toss a heal on that guy, and give that guy a buff, and slow that guy, and do that sort of thing. And now I get credit for that kill, 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 that
But
kill.
you-
And my XP is just going to be stupid because for very little effort, I'm going to get a lot of contribution. And
But
while you
they've-
might think your contribution per mob is small, that may be true, but I've got to throw out one heal. There's a heal over time. That sort of thing. And I think that would be a problem. That would
That's
But
cause
they've
a
already
problem.
addressed
exactly
that
what I was talking
in the
about, the
game.
logistics and the numbers. It's just not feasible.
Yeah.
No. They've already addressed that. They said if at the very end there's a little part saying their main job is to find that threshold where if you do just a little bit, you don't get it counted towards yours.
Yeah, there it
and
is.
they want to get the people that are just going and tagging mobs and trying to get that credit,
Cherry
like
picking.
like all the power
Yes,
levelers,
cherry
guys
picking.
you see. Yeah, all the cherry picking. All the guys you see that get world first 90 or world first in like 16 hours because they went to a level that was way too high for them and they tagged 50 mobs and had 17 other people kill each of those mobs while they're tagging them all and getting one hit. And So the cherry picking, they're already addressing the fact that they want you to have at least a certain threshold to get any XP, and then on top of that, however much damage you do above that threshold tells how much percentage of the XP you get.
Which
So,
can be applied to a healing system.
yes, it can, but
Okay, but let me reel back, because I know people are going to be watching this and be like, "Why is he suggesting all these things? This is ridiculous. He's not a developer. Oh, fuck him. Oh my god."
Well,
You're
they
trolling
obviously
me."
list the suggestions.
Like, look, I'm not trying to be a developer. I'm not saying that I have the perfect ideas or anything like that. This is just something I've seen, and something that I got an idea of from what they suggested when they were talking about Team Fortress 2. I was like, oh man, remember as the healer, it felt so rewarding when you got the kill with the guy. It was like, oh, I'm working with you. That's the only thing I'm saying. I want to see multiplayer games online like that make you really want to help everything around you if you're on the same faction or if you're in the same group. I want to see that feeling of community, camaraderie. I don't want to log into another MMO like, I'm sorry, but Guild Wars 2 and just be like, oh, there's people around me. I don't care.
Well, you know what? In Guild Wars 2, though, it did foster that because it gave me a reason to go help that person.
For the first day.
You know what? It kept up with me, though.
For the
I think it
first
was
day.
way better.
Slowly.
For the first day.
I think you just had a problem. Because I never had that. I never had that issue where I was like, meh, can't be bothered helping that guy. Because I'm like, if I help that guy, it's like subconsciously, my brain goes, if I help that guy, I get XP, I get rewards, I get potentially loot, I get progression towards a heart completion, I get progression towards event completion, all that sort of stuff.
The minute you hit
by
80,
being
though,
part of that, it was all good.
the minute you hit 80, though, there was no reason to help anybody anymore.
No, I
All
disagree.
you're doing is farming shit and ore and.
Support was no longer a viable option. It was whoever could damage the most and not take damage themselves.
Well, yeah, but that was a problem with Guild Wars Endgame, where Wildstar supposedly, I mean, they keep pushing this, that they're going to have a strong, solid endgame. So
Well, they will, because they have support roles, and people
Yeah.
will feel like they're helping, whereas support
that
in
was
Guild Wars 2 was
reasons
just
to do
labeled
stuff.
support versus actually
that was
doing
a flaw.
support.
That was a flaw in game design. It wasn't a flaw in the idea of having the ability to go out and help people and be.
No, the ability to help people is
They
important.
did that fine. It's the flaw was the end game stuff, which is a completely different problem.
The only thing I'm saying is that most people will get from 1 to 80 quickly, and when that's done, they're not going to go back and help. So they're just going to be like, oh, I got to get my daily, run. And it doesn't help me. Getting 86 experience for rezzing, douchebag McGee over here is not going to help me
You
complete
hear
my
that?
quest.
All level 5 characters are douchebag McGee's and Tristan Knives.
Or
Yeah.
Doushy. They're Doushy.
They're doushy.
They're Doushy.
Well, I liked
Tia
one of the things I
Doushy
liked
me.
that Carbine mentioned about that whole leveling thing and that sort of thing was that I can be level 80 and I can be at max level and you guys could all be like, oh man, we want to go do this dungeon and we don't have let's say I'm playing a tank because I'll probably play one. Oh, we want to play this dungeon, we don't have a tank. And I go, well, I'm level 80 and that dungeon's level 20.
I thought you said I'm a lady.
Well,
I'm a lady. Oh, you're in the group. Done. Bing.
So I'm a girl.
Hey, that was good. Don't even need a voice changer.
But that idea of like, okay, that dungeon's level 20, it has no challenge for me. There's no reason for me to go do that. But hang on, I can't remember what they called it. It's like in other games they've called it things like
down
sidekick.
leveling.
You can essentially be sidekicked down to the level where that dungeon is. So that dungeon becomes a challenge for me because I'm at the sort of stat thresholds for that dungeon. I get to use all of my awesome skills and my awesome gear, but it's all sort of it's all downsized. So
they have that in Wildstar, right?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. They've got that ability to go. That's what I'm talking about. They've got that ability.
Okay, I wasn't sure
to
if
do
you're like
that.
suggesting something. It's like,
No.
it's already in.
No, I was saying that the good part, one of the good things they've done is they've given you that ability to say, hey, look, you guys are all low level, and there's two options. I can either just go into this dungeon for you guys and blitz it so that you guys get the loot, and I don't really get anything out of it. And I spend 15 minutes and we destroy this dungeon, and you guys get cool gear from rare drops and what have you. And we farm this a couple of times. I can't count the number of times we give it to places like Wailing Caverns. And,
I'm down for that. I like that.
And
That's
Scarlet
fun.
Monastery and stuff like that. I used to do it all the time, just run people through those sorts of stuff. but there's also that option of go, well, actually, if I down level myself and we do this like a proper party, I can get contribution, I can get gear, and I can get stuff that's appropriate for me at my level, at level cap. That's going to be useful for me, so we can do this legitimately, or I can just smash you through this stuff and and you guys get the loot out of it.
Damien
Which I like.
My
Yeah,
mind wandered a little
I
bit.
like
started
having
singing
that
a song
choice.
in my head. Anyways,
We know you don't care about anybody else's opinions, Bruce.
Bruce, the drunker he gets, the less he gives a shit.
Yeah.
Just remember
What
that.
do you mean the drunker it gets? He just doesn't give a shit.
I don't give a shit. No.
There's no qualifying. It's
At this
just-
point, though, like, I can't tell where Bruce's face is anymore because the beard is starting to, like, meld into his eyebrows.
I know.
Like,
It's
pretty
it's
soon
actually,
you're just going to see eyes, like,
Well, no, the problem is my trim set actually broke. I had to buy a whole new trim
on the
set.
beard.
On on the beard. I had to fully replace my trim set because my beard is so thick and manly, and I also you can't see it with the headset. My hair is actually really long too, so it's like
thick
I
and
can't
manly.
do one
It
and
al-
not the other. So
It almost looks
I've just
it
been
almost
so
looks like
stalled
the
for
beginning
time lately. I
of
haven't
the-
been able to get a haircut because I haven't gotten a haircut. I haven't trimmed my beard with a new set, but I can't trim the beard with a new set until I get a haircut.
Wildstar.
just go to a barber get the dude.
Wildstar.
Anyway, I think we're getting close to a wrap up here.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do it to you again. I do have one more point before you wrap up.
That's fine. We have 5 minutes technically because I said I'd give you 15 extra.
15.
So.
I have one concern with it, and it may be because what Carbine is being so transparent with everything they're doing, but it seems to me
Bullshit.
that yeah.
They're being
Compared-
transparent, my ass. They're giving us information in small snippets, which is
Okay.
great, but come on.
But I mean, compared to any other game that I've been involved in,
They're being very considerate of the community is what they're
yes.
doing.
Yes.
But
Thank you.
Transparent
What I'm
is
saying
I don't people are always saying transparent and if we were completely
Okay.
transparent at this point, I think we would all be like
they're being a lot more open with the community than other games are is my point. And I think that's probably what's fueling this concern that I have.
Uh-oh.
That they have shown that they're very open to changing things based on feedback and based on what they're getting out of the players. So
I know where you're going with
the
this.
fact that they are changing, especially with something like this, where they're like, okay, originally we had a release date of late 2013, but now, oh no, we're going to go back and we're going to change everything, and we're not doing betas anymore for a couple months or till later this year, and we're pushing everything back because we got feedback, and now we're changing everything. I'm just worried that they might keep doing that and keep doing that and keep saying, oh, well, enough people don't like this, we're going to go back and change the whole thing again. Enough people like this.
I don't think they're putting the consumer on a pedestal where they're going to do everything they say.
No.
The thing is that the changes that are coming in fits into their ideal of what they want in the game. I think that's a very important point to remember. If they didn't believe that it would make the game more successful or more enjoyable, they wouldn't be doing it. And if, like,
yeah, probably.
what was it? Ages ago, the talk about flying mounts came up everywhere. Discussion about Wildstar.
I hope they don't do it.
Exactly. A ton of people don't want it because it breaks world immersion. The entire world was built with flying mounts in mind, but they realized how much it can actually ruin a game, especially on day one. They're I don't know what they're doing. It's in the air, and who knows what they're doing, but it's cool that they're
what do you
thinking
guys
about it.
think? What do you guys think? Do you think that we're gonna miss the 2013 release date?
Yeah.
Until today, I was hard pressed to say late October, early November. Now I'm thinking end of Q1 2014.
I'll hold judgment because I don't know how hard it will be for them to make the changes that they're talking about changing. Because I mean, the thing is that they said they're going to make these sweeping changes to the mob quests and so on. They've said that in this letter, but they already said they were thinking about and talking about doing that
I've heard about
several-
this type of thing before.
like a
with
good
from them.
2 months ago at least, and we already know from other interviews that they're already 2 or 3 iterations of the game ahead of what the beta is currently experiencing. So there's a reasonable chance that, you know, CBT 5 or 6 build or whatever already has those changes implemented, and they're testing and tweaking and playing with it. So for all you know, that's actually not going to hinder their development time all that much.
I feel like they
Because
would tell
it's
us.
realistic.
I
The
feel like
only
they would
thing,
tell us.
The only thing that is bugging me now is the fact that from closed beta test 1 to 3, they went back to back to back on it, and now they're taking their break, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I am not faulting them on it. I want them to. I
I am
them to
so
spend the time.
for the idea of giving beta testers a break because
Yes.
I'm sorry, 80% of beta testers are just playing the game because they're like, I need my fix, I need my
Right.
fix, I need my fix. It's
But-
like, dude, beta.
And they've already said that they
But-
get a lot of info from that too.
Yes, they do.
Yes,
But
but-
let me continue the point though. The fact that they went from 1, 2, and 3, and now they're taking a break, and they're not giving a definitive time on when it's coming back.
Later
That
this
is
year.
the only thing that is bugging me, because they're already planning a test 4 and 5, and we already know roughly from their previous patch notes, each of these tests run a month and a half, or something like that. And if we're looking at 4 and 5 to exist, we're looking in between 2 and 3 months of testing. If testing doesn't occur before the end of September, that's it. If they start up earlier than that, they could still make a 2013. If they don't start until that time, there's no way they're going to make a launch, because there's a dead
If they
gap
keep to that
between
timeline,
Thanksgiving and Christmas that they can't launch. That is an absolute dead zone for getting actual people to start the game.
All right. Time is up. I gave you guys 15 extra minutes. Time is up. What do you guys think? You tell us. You come to AltTabMe.com. You tweet AltTabMe. Tell us what you think. You think the game's going to make the release? You think it's going to come out in 2014, 2013? Come talk to us about anything that we didn't talk about in full here. Suggest what we should talk about next week, because we might not have any information. Anyway, we will still be here next week. So tune in next time. And thanks again for watching the AltTabMe.com podcast for Wildstar. And we will see you guys next time.
I'm not drunk.